Hello everyone, welcome back if you've been here on lately. So today's video is a interesting video in my opinion because there are two reasons, you guys. The first reason is the idea of today's build, and the second one is because it didn't take me so long, to be truly honest with you. It only took me close to 3 hours to build this, and then yeah, the idea of the build, right? So when the new expansion pack came out, Businesses and Hobbies, I came up with a list in my notebook of build ideas, and among them I had this build idea that we are seeing today. So for today's video we have a diner and a roller skating ring, I believe it's called, and yeah, that's our today's build. So for today's build I really wanted to incorporate this roller skating ring that came out with seasons, and also make it into like grab a bite too, you know, when you bring your Sims here they can also eat. And also I wanted to go with more or less the vibes of a like retro diner, you know, when you picture those like retro diners, when you search it even on the internet and you see those like red, like intense red, and also baby blue, like light blue swatches, plus the floor, the floor, you guys, the tiles that are black and white. And yeah, I think you can picture that when I'm talking about it, and I think it's truly a really nice thing and I really like it. I'm more or less probably I would say a sucker for retro vibes and I built it here on this channel before, retro inspired homes and so go check it out if you want. I might be linking them in this video from time to time, but we'll see. So for today's video, as I said, it's a diner and also a skating ring, a roller skating ring for your Sims, and it also has a ping pong table upstairs that came with Discover University, and also a dance floor that came with Get Together. And your Sims can also, as you understood, they can come here, they can dance, they can make friends, they can grab a bite, and they can do some, you know, like level up their fitness skill. I think it does level up your fitness skill if you put your Sims to go on the skating ring, and so yeah, I hope that happens, right? So the main thing that I love about this build is the open space plan, because as you see this ring, when you go upstairs you also have an open area and you can see down onto the ring, the skating ring, and then also if you look up there is a sunroof and it lets even more light inside the slot. And also the placement of this lot is just perfect. It's in Oasis Springs and it's by default on the lot that has a bar in there, in that world, and it's called the lot by default, I think, Rattlesnake Juice or so. It's in the left corner right now, I didn't remove the name. And yeah, that's the lot I've been working on. And I could say from the beginning, just so you know, I did use quite some packs, a bunch of them to be more precise. I did also mainly, I tried to use Dine Out, Get to Work, and Strangerville, but also I did use a bunch of Businesses and Hobbies expansion pack and then many other packs only for a few items or so. So I do hope that that's not a problem, and I really went creative with it and I really wanted to make it look nice. And with only base game, I don't know if I could have achieved that, because yeah, base game is not that creative, but oh man, when you see what people can do out there with only base game, that is crazy. So anyways, myself not really, but yeah, I really wanted to make this lot colorful like you see it in the pictures, in the inspiration pictures usually on the internet, and I really wanted to not have it with a really lame like plain shape, and that's why I tried to bring in a bit of a half wall in there, some bright red colors, the sunroof, and I do hope that it ended up being nice, and maybe you do end up putting it in your game, you know, and bringing your Sims here. That would be fun, I guess. I already playtested it, but there's only one thing I forgot to playtest it, and that's the couches that came with Dine Out. You know, when Dine Out came out, it's a game pack. You have the possibility to build your own restaurant and buy it as a retail and own it. And a nice thing that came with Dine Out, it's some couches that will swap onto the table. So basically your Sims can sit on that couch and be at the table at the same time, which is not possible with the other objects in the game, because couch doesn't swap to a table. So that's why I really like Dine Out for this, because I could use this and make it look like a diner aesthetic vibe build, I don't know. And so I do hope you like it too. And talking about the build, it will be available on the gallery as always. You know the drill by now. It's either under the hashtag SimmerAdelina if you want to search it by hashtag, or by my EA ID, which is Simmer_Adelina. Or you can go down in the description of this video and just click the link to my Patreon, and you can download it for free on my Patreon. And then you can have it in your game, and voila, it's done, you know, just that. But yeah, I do hope that you enjoyed the rest of the video. Oh yeah, wait, I'll just walk you through a bit of the inside of the build before I go away, you know, before I run away. So basically there's the entrance. We have two entrances in this build, a main entrance and a side entrance. And then we have the dining area that has the tables, a few tables, and also a very beautiful bar. And then we have a kitchen for your sim to hire a chef in there when it comes to the lot. When you get this lot, it's saved on the gallery as a small business venue, which means your sim won't live on this lot. It will only travel to this lot to do the business, I don't know. To do the business, that sounded odd. To maintain this business, you know. And so, yeah. And there is also a locker room area, you know, when you go to those skating rings that you have to change your shoes and get the special shoes, obviously. And I made it's purely decorative, because Sims don't do that. They just go directly and swap into their shoes for the ring, you know, so they don't really need that, but it's more for realism in this build. So yeah, that's why we have it. There are also two separate bathrooms that have each two toilets, and then we move upstairs where we have a ping pong table area for Sims to have a bit of fun, and then also a dance floor, and yeah, still a few tables up there for your Sims to just enjoy the view down on the skating ring, I guess. And yeah, that's the build. It's really not that complicated, but I really love it. And I really love the color swatches that I chose for this build. I decided to go with a really light blue for the bar, and red chairs, red stools, and I think pretty sure couches close to red. And for the wallpaper on the interior, I was about to go with just the one that was on the outside for from Businesses and Hobbies, but then you guys, I hovered over this wallpaper that came with Life and Death, and it just gave like that feeling that it's not perfectly even. It has some like maybe shades in it or so, and that was perfect. And I went with it for the interior. As you can see, it's more of a like maybe a terracotta kind of swatch going towards a bit of red. I don't know if that's correctly described, but yeah. The floor that I used in this build is a floor that you can still, as you watch this video, maybe you can still get it if you finish the event that's in game at the moment. It's a gameplay event, and if you finish those tasks, you get points and you unlock those things. So this is basically you get it in the first task you need to do in that event, and you get this nice floor, and that's why I went with it. And this build is really nice and beautiful. And yeah, the event ends on the 1st of April, so guys, make a run for it if you didn't know, but probably you do know. And yeah, just grab it. And I decided to also make this really nice bar scene from images on the internet, that they always have this like big area also above the bar, above the bar, and it's not like empty, just ceiling and that's it. It makes it look more chunky. Does that make any sense? But yeah, And behind the bar I chose to go with that wallpaper that's very full of patterns. It's like a plumbo pattern kinda, and it's light blue, but I switched it to like maybe a sage green or so. But that wallpaper is also very beautiful. Since the expansion pack Businesses and Hobbies came out, I wasn't really able to use it before, but now guys, now I finally got to use it in this build, and it just went perfectly fine in there. It just felt like it fits in there, you know? So yeah, I did playtest the kitchen and the bar area, as I said, the bathrooms, but I did not playtest the couches that are at the tables. And I do hope that they are playable. If they are not, I'm sorry, but I'm pretty sure they are. I hope. And yeah, with all being said about this build, I don't know what I would be talking more in this build about, but yeah, that was it. I walked you through, and now I will just leave you with some music. It's not a long video today, you guys. Usually it would be like close to an hour maybe, but today is a bit shorter than usual, and yeah, I'm happy for that. And I hope to see you in my next build. And don't forget that I do polls on my community tab here on YouTube, so you can go there on my channel and just vote in the polls if you want. It's helping me. And with all being said, until next time, you guys, take care, and I hope to see you in my next video. Any suggestions you have, drop them down in the comments. And yeah, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for all the support, and I hope to see you in my next video. And until then, have a great day, whatever it is for you, morning, afternoon, evening, or night. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye everyone.